Welcome, everyone. I'm Rich Karlgaard, former publisher and now editor-at-large and Global Futurist at Forbes. I'm pleased to be talking today with Dr. Misty Resendez, who teaches at the Forbes School of Business and Technology within its Bachelor of Arts in Business Leadership program at the University of Arizona Global Campus. As an educator, Dr. Resendez has a unique and valuable perspective. She learned English as a second language, having grown up in foster care from the age of 8 and becoming a mother at 16. All these experiences influence how she interacts with students. Talk about your experiences growing up in foster care and some of the challenging circumstances that you had.
Yeah, well, I definitely would say I did not grow up with privilege. So because of that, I had to find my way. Moving around in foster care, you're kind of removed from your roots and your family and your culture. So you have to find something to connect to. And so the only common denominator I had is because I was a child, I had to go to school. And so I found peace, right? The only thing that I could control is, my learning and the things that I could learn. So I spent a lot of time in books and just trying to, propel my education and read and write and, just kind of get lost in this creative world, right?
And what attracted you to a criminal justice degree?
And I wanted to take a criminal justice course because of my experience of being in the court system my entire life and having the social service experience. I just wanted to really learn a little bit more about the legal side from a different perspective and through a different lens. And so I took a course and fell in love with it and felt I had a lot to add to working in that field. And so I got my bachelor's in criminal justice, and as my internship was with the adult probation department, which was something that I was very passionate about and spent many years of my career in that space.
Well, in fact, you also developed an expertise around drug and alcohol counseling.
I did.
It's a sad fact that so many people in the criminal justice department have addiction problems.
Yes. So being bilingual, I had the Spanish caseload when I was working probation. And a lot of the Spanish speaking offenders, most of their crimes were alcohol related. And so there was a big gap in services that were available to Spanish speaking offenders. And so a colleague of mine kind of held my hand and walked me along on getting certified and, really shared how I can lend some help and a support to kind of bridge this gap for those offenders who didn't have opportunities to receive services in their primary language. So I sought, the education and got certified as a licensed clinical addictions counselor and provided treatment services as a night job, still working probation and then doing drug and alcohol counseling in the evening.
That's got to be psychologically hard on one because the rate of recidivism is pretty high. Addictions are not easily solved.
That's true. I never looked at it as that because somebody can come in 20 times for treatment and I didn't look at them any different because they were back.
When did you begin to see that you had the talent and the motivation to be a leader, which led you to organizational leadership, was your master's degree and your PhD? Describe that journey when the first sort of seeds were planted that you said to yourself, I can be a leader. I'm really interested in this subject and I can make a difference as a leader.
I never had that desire to be a leader. I think I just wanted to effectuate change. And so I took the steps to create change and to use my platform as a voice. So what happened is upon graduating with my bachelor's, I went right in for my master's of business management because I wanted to excel to a leadership role so I could have more reach, more opportunities to create change for the population I was working for. And so I ended up working for a hospital. I left probation at that time and started working for a drug and alcohol treatment hospital. And I had many opportunities there to expand on my skill set. And I had the opportunity to open 7 satellite locations for them. And part of that was to continue to reach populations that didn't have access to the main campus. And during that time, I felt like what what do I need to do educational wise to kind of help support me in this role? And that's when I pursued my PhD in organizational leadership. So side by side, I'm opening these offices, learning a lot about businesses and creating businesses and establishing everything from ground zero up. And alongside that, I'm working on a PhD simultaneously and raising kids. You know, I still have that hat of being a mom. My goal, right, my aspiration is to help educate leaders so they don't fall to that dark side of leadership, and to be aware, right, to help develop that self-awareness, you know, that purpose-driven value leadership. You know, a lot of my research, it intersects with diversity, equity, inclusion, and especially belonging. And I focus a lot on that, right? Because those are all the spaces that I come out of, all of those intersectionalities, the justice part of it. You know, all of that, I guess, is what I focus on, because I've seen so many leaders have great ideas, but they just don't really focus on the people. So earlier you asked me the question is, how do I define leadership? And I define leadership in my mind, a leader is somebody who plants these seeds, right? And if we think about like a plant growing and blossoming, we have to continue to water this plant. We have to prune it. We have to move it from windows sometimes. Sometimes it's not going to get the right sunlight in one window, so we might have to move it to another. And that's what I see my role as a leader, and those that I educate as what a leader should do, right? It's walking alongside somebody. It's helping to coach and develop them, not just delegating, like do these tasks or to do something to accomplish a goal. It's us coming together more as a collaboration, working together to help accomplish a larger goal.
What leadership barriers and pathways are unique to women and unique to women of color?
A lot. We have a lot of barriers. We have our own self-imposed barriers that I think we deal with, right? The whole lack of confidence, the lack of the network, I think is a large one. You know, just an example is when I was going through college, my PhD, or just any leadership role, it's hard to find, you can't turn to family for, well, I mean, first I was in foster care, so I don't have that family network, right, that is established, college educated, who can help guide me. But, you know, we can even remove that piece. A lot of us women of color don't have those opportunities to really share what this experience is like, what we're going through. So we have to be intentional about reaching out to find mentors, to find sponsors, to walk alongside us.
What do you enjoy most about teaching leadership? And also talk about how you not just teach students, but you support adjunct professors at the Forbes School of Business and Technology.
Yes, I love to teach leadership because I think so many students coming in think that you have to be born a leader. You have to have certain traits. You have to show up a certain way. And there are so many different ways that you can be a leader. You know, just recently we talked about, you know, leading without authority, and what does that look like, and how that actually empowers collaboration. And so I just love that opportunity that I have to reach the students, to give them that hope, right? To plant those seeds that you could be a leader, right? You're probably already a leader in different spaces already. And then just showing them how to fine tune their skills and really focus on that development, you know, to continue to excel and further develop their skill sets.
How do you deal with students who remind you of yourself in that they have challenges that were similar to yours?
So I just see myself as a pillar of support, and that's what I tell them. I'm here as support to you. I'm a tool, right? So utilize me as that tool. So I extend that to any student. And again, if a student chooses to share a little bit of their struggles, I just try to use my resources that I am aware of to connect them to what they need. No matter the barriers, you know, you can, you know, persevere, and you could, you know, put your mind to it and accomplish those goals. And I think one of the biggest things that I try to tell students, or anybody who, I don't care what age they are, that wants to go back to school or they want to become a leader, is that ask for help, find a mentor. especially women of color, we're told not to ask for help because it looks like we're not capable, or we're not going to be successful, right? It takes away some of that power, like we can do this. But not to be afraid to ask for a mentor, somebody to guide you through a process, or just to, be a sounding board.